stories to suit
Yeah,
them.
because y'all really didn't even know that they were together
Hey,
like that. So where are
Sandy,
y'all getting these dates from?
welcome. No, I'm not going to let you up, Sandy. No way. You've never come. You don't ever show up here. It's like, it's like when Butch Holiday never shows up and then he thinks he can come in and demand to be up and then cause a fight. You're welcome to listen, but no, I'm sorry, Sandy. You can't come up. But yeah, I'm sure you were listening for a while because you probably heard some stuff you didn't like, and that's why you made yourself known. I mean, you guys, this is the, I mean, like they keep showing us what they do. You know, Sandy, we were just about to get off. Like, if you were listening, because I know you were for a while, Nigeria said one last thing and then started talking about that. I think that if you got up here, that it would take way too long. It's 9:30 on a Thursday night. But I do appreciate you coming and offering. I do appreciate you coming and offering. I mean, I think, do you want me to be really honest with you, Sandy? If I'm going to direct this at you, I think that based on you don't want to fight, I don't want to fight either. Why have you been reporting me for months? Why have you been reporting everything I do? You're not going to come in here with your pretend nice. If you want to have a talk, you're going to have to be honest about how this has played out over the last 7 months. Because I know that you recorded episode 3 of the podcast and you're talking about this small group of people. There's 7 people in here, Sandy. I have like 200 followers. I am not a threat to this case. But the more you treat me like a threat, the more I might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't keep trying to squash somebody's voice for months and then act like you haven't. Yeah, you have, Sandy. Your other accounts, remember those? Your other 3 accounts that got banned? You guys, I have clips of you telling your followers to report people. I have it clipped. I mean, you have to understand, Sandy, this is going on for 7 months. You have said that. You've directed people to report, and y'all have. You went wild with it. I don't think this is going anywhere. I'm committed to 30 days drama-free, Nigeria, and I'm really trying to I'm trying to defend myself, stand my ground, and do it respectfully. And I don't know. I think it's gotten wild. You literally, Sandy, are there's 7 people in here. Do you realize we went underground for a while, Sandy? We were doing private Zooms to avoid this kind of stuff. I mean, if you don't like what we say publicly, you should see what we say when we're not on a live. You did the same what? I don't like, well, you know what I don't like. You guys spy on me all the time. I don't need to repeat myself. You heard what Nigeria and I were talking about for the last 40 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Nigeria, what do you think we should do here? Well, hey, chat. I like the chat's opinion. Hey, what should we do? Should we keep talking? I mean, it's 9:30. I'm not really into this.
I don't
Sandy,
know. I don't know. I'll just say,
or should we
hopefully.
pretend? Should we pretend Sandy's not here? We usually do. We know that they're here watching, but we usually just pretend they're not. It's way more fun when we pretend they're not here. Sandy, wouldn't you agree that it's way more fun when we pretend you're not watching? You guys can collect way more intelligence when you pretend you're not here. I just think it's really unfair to assume somebody's sexuality. And I don't like what you've done and how you talk ish all the time about everybody. And then you think that this group is so bad because we talk about the case. That is true. You've had me blocked until 15 minutes ago. So you must have been watching on your burner account, and then you unblocked me to come in here with your big name because you knew Blazy, it's gotten weird over the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that the energy that you and others come out with, I think that you guys feel like it's okay for you guys to come out with that energy, but it's not okay for anyone else to match it. I feel like it's okay for you guys to speculate and talk shit on so many people, but it's not okay for anybody else to do that. I feel like you make all the rules and you can change them whenever you want, and you don't hold people to the same standards you let yourself have. I don't know, guys. I don't know how to put a poll up. I'm not a TikToker, Sandy. I don't even know why you're here trying to change my mind. You're not going to. I'm telling you that. It's like people were asking me the other day in a live why I don't trust Brad. I don't trust you either, by the way, Sandy. I don't trust any mofos on the internet. So I just don't trust most people. But it's like a credit score, okay? A couple dings here or there, you're still going to have maybe a 701. You're still going to have good credit. But after so many dings and so many dings, your social credit score with me is very, very low. So, like you say, you could explain yourself, but does it really matter if I don't trust you? Because I've seen how I'll give you a compliment, Sandy. I'm going to give you a compliment. You're live on Tuesday night on Amy's, on the mark of Amy's being disappeared for 28 years. I feel like I was picking up on that you're trying really hard and you're trying to turn over a new leaf. For example, in the beginning, 7 months ago, you would say things like, "Oh, I've answered this so many times. We've answered this so many times, Brad, but they still want to know about the shoes." And now you've gotten to the point where you've learned some patience. And now you say things like, "I know there's new people here. I know there's new people every day learning about this. So I want to say now you're being nicer. You were being nicer on Tuesday night. I have said all along that if we would actually talk, it would be better." Sandy, this is the first time we've talked. This is the first time you've showed up here. So what do you mean you've said all along that if we actually talk, it would be better? Who have you said that to? Not me, not anyone I know, because they would have told me. You know what, Sandy? I have paid attention to this case since Amy went missing. 28 years. Okay? I've seen it all. I'm a crime junkie. Don't diminish what I know. Talking to people in general, not you personally. Here's the thing, Sandy. If you want to talk about the evidence and timelines and real stuff, this is not a thoughts and prayers kind of group here. This is where we really dig through the evidence and we talk about the evidence. Like, for example, John Benet Ramsey, we suspect the dad had something to do with it. Or Nancy Guthrie, we think the family has something to do with it. We talk about that stuff. We talk about other families. We talk about families of crime victims. And for some reason, Ron and Iva and Brad are off limits in the Amy Bradley case. No, there's no questions I have for you. You've answered everything. What I'm telling you is this type of group is going to analyze every single detail. Every one. And you guys just don't want us to. And then we discover all the contradictions in the stories. And then let's talk about this. Let's talk about this for a second. I'm going to plug my phone in. You want me to believe that y'all think that Amy's still alive and she's been trafficked. You want me to believe that she's been raped every single day, multiple times for 28 years, and she hasn't wanted to kill herself yet? You're telling me that she is surviving that horrific abuse? No. Sandy, y'all have been pushing the traffic. Stop with this. We don't know what happened. I've listened to every single interview that has been done, and I've heard your theories, and it's only one. And it includes Jazz. And then Brad says, oh, our family has never said it's definitely Amy. And then we Truthfinder clips the interview where Iva definitely says it's definitely Amy. So yeah, no, Iva definitely believes her daughter's raped daily for 28 years and it didn't kill her. Dude, it's disgusting. And then if you really think that's Amy, all this information that you want to keep private, your investigators, we got to keep this private. All this information that you got to keep private, but not the fucking naked pictures of your goddamn daughter? Wild that you couldn't keep those a secret. Sorry, I'm mad, guys. Because you want me to believe. You expect me to believe that you have years of IP addresses and you haven't fucking figured it out yet? Let the internet at it. The internet would solve that. Let that data out. Let the IP addresses out. Hide the naked pictures that Iva thinks is her daughter. Like, I don't understand why you don't think, why I'm the one who doesn't make sense. Let's talk about Brad hearing Amy from the car. I know I heard Amy. Deshi, the same trip. Deshi, the first day of the press conference, says, your daughter's here. Your daughter's here. I saw her. Brad hears her 3 days later. And then 3 days after that, they leave. They leave and they never return. Why? You can't take pics down from that site, but did you need to show the world? Did you need to show the world? Sandy, Brad sat on an interview with Mike from the Young Jerks. And some of these interviewers, even Derek Levasseur, put those photos up on the screen and asked Brad permission. Watch those interviews back, Sandy. Ask Brad. I'm going to put the pictures up. You okay with that? Yep. Okay. Maybe you can't take them down, but you don't need to show everybody. Are they on the Amy Bradley is Missing website? Probably. So these are some of I have a lot of contradictions. So you mean to tell me you believe Deshi and you believe that they saw Amy, and then 3 days later, Brad hears Amy, and then 3 days later, y'all leave and never return? Okay, that's wild. And then Brad says, "Oh, it's dangerous for us to go there. They know me now. I'll test that theory." I
Yeah,
mean,
that's one of my things too. I'll say I think that whatever happened in that room is the key. And I personally believe that when Amy was out on that balcony, I don't know what happened exactly, but I feel like that's when Amy's life ended. Like that's that. I feel like that's when her life ended. I don't feel like the theory that she's been kidnapped is plausible whatsoever. I don't think it makes any sense. And even, I mean, I feel like whatever happened on the balcony, her life ending there would be, in my opinion, better than her being kidnapped for all of these years and put through absolute torture, right? I mean,
graped daily.
yeah, just put through absolute torture because I mean, she was kidnapped. I mean, if she was kidnapped, I mean, obviously they didn't kidnap her so they could take her on trips and picnics and stuff. She would be going through torture.
Abuse. Abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, torture. Better word. Not
And
abuse. Torture.
yeah, I mean, I think her life ended on the balcony. And honestly, I think that's more peaceful than believing that she's out here suffering. You know, she's been suffering for 28 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that Savannah Guthrie said in her interview. I reposted it if you guys want to go see what I reposted. She talks about, like, you don't hear the Bradleys talk about this when they do interviews, but Savannah Guthrie talks about, and real tears, and she's crying and she's saying, I can't, every night, all I can think about is what my mom had to go through, what my mom's going through. And I would say, and I'm not trying to give you any hints on how to fake it, but y'all don't talk about Amy and what Amy has gone through. All you talk about is all the things that Ivan, Brad, and Ron have gone through.
Yeah, I feel like they're genuinely like if she was kidnapped, y'all, she is suffering. Like this is a big deal. She's suffering. This is not, there needs to be like urgency. And that's another thing. I feel like there's no urgency. Like I
Agreed.
don't feel like there's urgency whatsoever. You know, why are you not actively there, you know, looking for your child? I mean, I know around the time the documentary came out, I know y'all saw some like TikTokers and stuff, or just like small creators, where I guess they had went on vacation and they were over there on the islands, and there was this one woman and she was going around and asking people, have you saw Amy? Have you saw
Yeah.
Amy?
I followed her in the
She
beginning. Yeah.
was actually over there on the islands asking people that.
Yep.
And currently and today, and they're not. They're not over there asking people that. And I know it may sound silly and it won't lead to, and it probably, well, I don't think it'll lead to anything because I don't think she's alive, but it probably won't lead to anything. But you have a random individual who's over there on the islands asking people, have you saw Amy? Have you saw Amy?
Sandy, I don't think that your messaging is in alignment with Brad's and your private investigators' messaging. Okay? You will see this eventually. Sandy says that's not info we share. We are definitely active. Y'all will definitely see this eventually. Sandy, I don't know if you've heard this through the grapevine yet, but everybody is sharing all of everything. And we have receipts. And Brad, yeah, Your messaging isn't aligned. I'm just going to say your messaging isn't aligned with the PIs and with Brad's. Just saying. You guys all say different things when it suits you, and it's just not a good look. I think you want to know what I think, Sandy? I think y'all should talk less. I think that if Netflix thing could have came out, but Brad didn't have to talk so much. I think that's what's burying public opinion. That's what's making public opinion just dive deep down on this case.
And just want to say, but kind of going back to what I was saying, I personally think Amy is at peace.
I do too.
I honestly, I don't really know if anybody truly believes that this woman is actually still alive. Like, I mean, I just feel like different actions would be taken.
Sandy, hold on. Nigeria, I have to interrupt you because I got to read this. This sounds like a kindergartner's, like a child's response. But Netflix lied, though. Why is that okay? That's not right either. Holy shit. We're looking for a missing woman, Sandy. We're trying to find out what happened to Amy. Netflix came in a couple years ago. They weren't there. It doesn't matter what they said. We're adults. We can discern facts. I'm not giving them a pass, Sandy. This isn't about Netflix. This is about what happened in 1998. This isn't about Netflix. People on the internet have not believed the Bradleys for decades. This isn't new, Sandy. Oh, God. It's okay if the Bradleys are inconsistent because Netflix lied. I don't know. Sorry, Nikiria. It's these things, like, I don't think Sandy's a crime person. I'm going to guess Sandy doesn't follow crimes. Do you know what I did today? Do you know what I did all week? Anybody heard about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case? Not guilty. Announced today, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, not guilty, as she should have been. But this is what some crime people do, Sandy. We watch trials. We pay attention to the law. We pay attention to like almost every crime that comes on. We compare and contrast. And we're like, holy shit, we've seen this before, or we've never seen this before. And here's how the law would apply. Here's how investigators would handle this. This is how it would go through state court, federal court, because we watch all of that shit. We know how the FBI behaves in other cases. We know how all of this shit works. And none of it involves Netflix.
Yeah, I guess one of my biggest things with this whole thing, I don't understand, and I will never understand, why is no one from the immediate family, so we're talking Brad, Ivor, Ron, why is nobody over on the islands? Why is nobody physically there? Physically.
I'll tell you.
Why? What really do we have? It's been 28 years. If you really think she's there, you got go there and look. You went there and then, you came back. Why did you not go back over there? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you genuinely, within your heart, deep down with all of your being, believe that your daughter is somewhere over there, why are you not trying to get your child? Like, I don't understand that. I highly doubt it's a money issue. But I
It's not a
mean,
money issue.
it like, why are you not physically there? This is your child
Well,
who you love with all of your being. I mean, it just, it makes no sense to me. And that's what makes me believe that deep down, they know that she's not alive. Deep down, like they know that. And this whole thing is just a hope and a prayer, in all honesty.
yeah, it's
They're
grass.
trying to, in my opinion, this is their way of keeping Amy alive, in my opinion. This is how they keep her alive. Like, they know physically, it's like they know she's not here. But this is them trying to keep her alive, in my opinion.
I think
But
that
I don't know,
bigger
you
than
know,
that.
I just don't understand why they're not there physically right now. Like, I mean, there's only so much that podcast and stuff and things of that nature can do. Even if you did actually find Amy, she was alive and you found her, somebody has to go and get her. I mean, somebody physically has to go and do it.
Well, so let's go to your question. I know what Brad's answer and Sandy's answer would be. Why aren't they going there? The answer has been in the past. Well, we don't know where we're going. We don't know where to go. And there was another answer. Oh, and it's too dangerous. Brad says it's too dangerous. So those are the two answers they've given in the past. Now let's look at the timeline. Let's look. Nigeria is very sweet and calming. It's like yin and yang up here. So let's just look at the timeline. So Amy goes missing. They go back to Curacao. She says she's here. She's on the island. Brad hears her 3 days later. They leave 3 days later. They never return. During this time, maybe about 6 months later, David Carmichael says, I saw her. She's there. Okay. So that's in 1990. She went missing in 1998. David Carmichael saw her in August of 98. I don't think that he reported it until, I don't know, December or maybe even early 99. I saw her. Guess what? By March, even though all those sightings in Curacao, the Bradleys never returned. And by March, they filed for her death certificate and sued for wrongful death within 1 year. All of that happened. So they never believed David Carmichael. They never believed Deshi. They never believed, Brad didn't believe he saw her because they never went back. Instead, they declared her dead. Moderator truth. Oh, sorry. Kadi doesn't even matter. They just rejoined Blazy with a different name. I'm sorry, not Blazy. Truthfinder. Anyway, so this is why timelines matter. Timelines matter because they had Deshi. I saw her on the island. Brad, I heard her. David Carmichael, I saw her. And then less than a year after Amy goes missing, they file for death and they sue for wrongful death and they never go back. This is why timelines matter. And I'm telling you guys, if you think for a second the FBI isn't on to all of this, you're nuts. You're nuts to think they don't watch everything I say, everything you say, everything that's said about Amy Bradley. Okay? They're watching all of it. Kadi can't come up. Why would I ever let Kadi come up? What was the reasoning for filing the lawsuits? They wanted to file for negligence, and then they claim that their lawyer said, well, you should do wrongful death too. But the thing is, they blame the lawyers. The Bradleys blame everybody but themselves. They blame the lawyers. They blame the FBI. They blame the Royal Caribbean. They blame the Steve Smith. They blame all these people. Everybody is at fault. They take zero responsibility for their decisions in this. So they'll tell you that the lawyer suggested all this. Well, guess what? You're in charge. You hired the lawyer. The lawyer works for you. The lawyer does what you say. And then suddenly the case is dismissed because the freaking Bradleys lied in their depositions. Lied. And Brad will tell you it lied before it got to court. Guess what, Brad? I watch court cases. That's what I do. And once you file that lawsuit, it's in court. The filing, the paperwork, when you file it with the court, it's in court. Just because you didn't get to walk into a big fancy courtroom doesn't mean it's not in court. It's in court. And there was sanctions against your family, Brad. And Sandy, you can't deny any of this. You can't.
Again, I want to. I guess I want to respond to. I guess something that she said earlier. It would be easier if we knew she was not with us, then we could just mourn. And yes, it would be easier, but are you willing, would you be willing to even entertain that? Would you be willing to believe it? It would be easier, but are you willing to even believe that? Like, I mean, it's been 28 years. There's really not a lot of scenarios to where Amy would realistically still be alive. I mean, there's really not even a lot of ways she could have made it, off of that ship. Like this whole thing, I feel like that has been spun up is very unrealistic and it doesn't make sense. But I just don't feel like y'all are willing to admit that this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And if we take the whole sexuality thing out of it, because I know you don't really like when people bring that up because you think it makes people think of suicide. Even if we take that out, there's really not a lot of ways that she could have made it off of that ship. And then we have to take into account these people would be keeping her and doing whatever horrific things that they're doing to her. Why would they keep her alive all of these years? They're spending money on her because, I mean, they have to keep her alive. They're having to spend money on, I mean, why would she still be alive to this day? And I understand okay, the picture may have strung you along, but there's not evidence really to support the fact that she's still alive. And that's just my whole thing. I just don't feel like there is a willingness to believe that she could possibly be dead. I mean, Brad has said there's zero chance she jumped, zero chance she fell. And that in itself, that's unrealistic. But yeah, that's just my whole thing. Yeah, and what Truth Finder said, all while parading her around in public. Again, why Amy is supposedly out on beaches just taking strolls with her kidnappers? That makes no sense. I mean, this isn't a movie. This is real life. And that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It doesn't.
And the FBI knows that. The FBI knows that.
Yeah, and that, they've stated, there's really just not any evidence, that she left the room, and there's not. But yeah.
That's okay, Jess. Truth Finder says 4 months after she went missing, drinking in a beach bar. Yep.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there supposedly...
Why do you talk about they? You're always they. Yes, yet they have not closed the case. They. It's not about they. It's about what the family. It's about what are you guys doing? Stop with everybody else. You want to know why they haven't closed the case? They're fucking investigating the fucking family, Sandy. I don't know how you can't see that. I'll tell you, I'm not naming names, but there's a ton of people still tipping off the FBI, Sandy. I don't know how you don't know that. And they're not tipping the FBI off about Curacao and traffickers. Okay? Sorry, I'm trying to be respectful, Sandy. I really give it to you. I give you a lot of credit for coming in here. I'm trying to keep cool because I feel like somebody just barged into my house and then you requested up right away, like you had some kind of, like you didn't even say hi. You know what I mean? I felt like that was a rude entry, Sandy.
Cece,
And
you're
so,
you're the bad cop. I'm the good cop.
yeah, yeah. But I got to give Sandy credit. I got to give Sandy credit for coming in. And I will say, I do think Sandy's turning over a new leaf. For now, I don't totally trust her, but I don't trust anybody on the internet at all. And so I don't totally trust Sandy, so she could easily let me down. One little thing, and she'd slip back down to like a 500 credit score in my book. Right now, she's probably at like a 580. Right now, she's at a 580 credit score in my book. Like, I wouldn't lend her money, but she rose. She got better this week. You know what I mean?
And I do think if there was I guess some acceptance on what I think truly happened to Amy, however, she went overboard, that's my thing. I mean, there could be a lot, done in Amy's name. I mean, she was a basketball player. You could do a scholarship in her name. I mean, there's just a lot of things that could be done in Amy's name if
The family's
yeah,
never done anything in 28 years. They don't have an annual basketball tournament. They don't have an annual scholarship. They don't have an annual fundraiser for the search for Amy. All this fundraising is new. This isn't like, I'm sorry, but the family's resume isn't great in their search efforts. They say they've been searching 24/7 for 28 years, but they haven't. Do you know what Iva's been doing? Iva's been doing a lot of reposting on X. She's got like 10,000 fucking reposts in the last 4 years, yo. None of them are about Amy, Sandy. None of Iva's posts or reposts are about her daughter or any
and
activism
that's
related to
that's
this.
another question that I really want answered. I heard Brad in a live, on YouTube, he was saying that, they don't, people are trying to portray them, and the parents as bigoted and homophobic. But I mean, we look at Iva's repost and, they are anything but supportive. In the most simplest terms, they are bigoted and they are homophobic. And some of them are racist. I mean, so what's the deal? What's the deal with that? I mean, really,
Yeah.
I don't, are we going to get an answer? Like, why is she reposting bigoted things? And so, I mean, some of them you can't really argue. It's just hateful stuff. It really is. And I mean, you can't wonder, okay, why are people questioning if we supported her? And you're reposting these things and they're just downright hateful. They really are. And it's no way to really get around that.
Yeah, the question came up when we started the live today. We started talking about that. Nigeria has really, really good, number one, she's calm, succinct, and has really well put together thoughts. And the thought asked earlier was, Brad saying, oh, people are portraying my parents as homophobic and bigoted. And we talked about it and we're like, nobody's portraying them as that. They're portraying themselves as that. It's their messaging that's making us perceive them. We perceive them to be homophobic and bigoted because of what they project out into the world. And you do too, Sandy. We talked about how you project that as well. There's a couple things I was thinking I might clip tonight and put up of you, maybe just to remind you. Maybe I will. To remind you, you said it. And yeah, there's some things you say too, Sandy, that you really overstep. You really overstep in how society sees this type of thing in the 21st century, and you act like you know. And Sandy, I'm actually probably just like you. I think I'm a little younger, but single, kids. My kids are adults now, even though wow, I'm younger than you and my kids are older. Shit. Anyways, I'm probably like you. I'm single. I love God. And this the way that y'all talk about people with a different sexuality than you, it's not becoming. I think you can get better though, Sandy. You're turning a new leaf this week. Look at you.
Yeah, I just, that's always been, that's another big question that I have. You can't possibly sit, wonder, and ponder, why do people think that we were not accepting of Amy? And then you go and turn around and post these things. I mean, there's no way that you can be shocked and wonder why people think that. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to think when we see those things? I mean, that doesn't sound like somebody that's supporting. I mean, it doesn't. And I get, and it just, that's my whole thing. And Sandy, I don't really know how close you were with them around the time that Amy went missing, but like, I get it, like you're speaking for them and you're really close with this family, but I mean, how can any of us truly be sure that they were just 100% supportive of her when we see the things that they are reposting? I mean, this is not like he says, she says type stuff. This is stuff that we're seeing, right? She's reposting these things, and she obviously doesn't care who sees them. So I mean, what does that leave all of us with?
She seems proud of it.
Yeah, because she reposts it constantly, back to back to back, 24/7,
All day.
multiple times a day. She's staunch in her beliefs.
Nothing about her daughter though.
And this is in the year of 2026. This is in 2020. Well, I guess that
2025.
was back in 2025, right? Yeah, but that was back in
It was a month
2025. I mean,
It was a month before the documentary aired. You know what? I have a theory on this, speculative theory. But my theory is that Iva was still triggered about the Kat and Molly thing, and that was going to come out that following month. And so it was really weighing on her mind heavily, and she was hating on some lesbians when she was reposting. I think she really had Kat and Molly in mind when she was reposting those things, because it was top of mind.
Before the documentary, there was way more bigoted and homophobic things and anti-gay things than there were of posts regarding Amy.
Nothing about Amy.
Way more. I mean, way more.
I don't think that Iva's ever posted about Amy on Twitter.
It's just, and it makes no sense. And I think that it's really disgusting, because there was racist things too. There was very, very racist things. I saw a really bad picture on there being racist towards people of Asian descent. We saw the TV commercial post that she reposted. It's just hateful stuff.
Okay, crime talk. To be fair, thank you for being fair, because we like to consider everything. So, does she post or only repost? I think she only reposts.
Repost.
So, to be fair, She didn't write them. However, that's
You read
not,
them.
like, here's the thing about a repost. A repost is bigger than a like. Like, you can like something and move on with your day. When you repost, you're broadcasting. Do you know that a repost, this was in a court case. A repost is considered that you published. So you can like something, but in the court of law, if you repost something, you have published that on your own page. So
Yeah.
it's a huge endorsement.
So she was reading these things and being like, "Yep, I agree with that. Let me go ahead and put that on my page and repost it."
It's not even a
So
like. You can agree with something and just like it. She went beyond that. She said, I need all my friends to know that I like this. This is what I'm saying too. Because when I repost something, it's like, hey guys, look at this. I love this. I believe in this. This is, like, right? Reposting is agreement unless you specifically condemn the post. Yes, Curious George, I agree. And I remember a court case I'm trying to remember what court case it was where the judge ruled a repost is you publishing your own, it's an endorsement. It counts.
I want an answer on those reposts. That's when everybody gets silent because nobody can explain that. Nobody can explain it. Nobody can give me a logical answer on how it makes sense to repost those things and then somehow be this supportive parent. It doesn't make sense. And and unfortunately, that's another thing we're just never going to get an answer on. It's just going to flow. And I hate that. I really do. I really do.
Crime Talk says, oh no, it's a big deal. She reposted that. I'm just saying.
Oh no, Crime Talk. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you.
She's talking about, we've moved past that. I just wanted to acknowledge that we saw this. Crime Talk is just saying that might be why there's nothing about Amy. Like if there was a post about Amy and Iva saw it, she might repost it. But I think my point is, you've been missing for 28 years and you say that you've been searching for her 24/7 for 28 years and you're on Twitter 24/7 reposting all day and you couldn't draft a comment, you couldn't draft a post remembering your daughter on her birthday, on the missing date, asking people to look for her, like none of that. There's no effort. She discovered this. She got a lot of followers, you guys. She got a lot of followers and she doesn't brag on her kid. And Brad wasn't either. I mean, y'all, this is new. Since Netflix came out, this is a new push. They weren't looking before. You know what they were doing before though? They were monitoring Reddit. They've been monitoring Reddit for years. Brad loved Reddit. There's a lot of evidence about Brad's activity on Reddit over the years. And people know it, Sandy. I don't know if this is new to you. But yeah, Reddit's a fun place, but it's super censored over there.
Yes, Sandy, I would like to know, like, what do you think about the post? Do you think that that's appropriate? I don't. And I don't think it, you really can't talk too much about the Netflix documentary painting you in a light that makes you look like, you're homophobic and you didn't support your daughter, but then you post those things. I mean, you can't say that Netflix did that, but you're also doing this. No, but Sandy, this is stuff that has actually been posted, though. Like, this is things that she has reposted.
Sandy, how it works in here, you would love to discuss, let me come up. That's like kissing on a first date. Absolutely not. Nobody comes in here the first time they've been in here, the first time they interact with us. Nobody comes up on the first time. Nobody. Nigeria, when did you come up? Months. We've been talking for months before y'all. Nobody comes up, Sandy. That's not how it works. I don't think that
It's up to you, CC. But I mean, it's fine with me, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I just think that it's a boundary. I mean, I have a boundary. I get to have boundaries. Blazy, let her up. Blazy, you're probably the fucking one who went and told her to come over here. Blazy's a double agent. Damn. Maybe not. This is my joke with Blazy. I think Blazy's a double agent. I've always said that. I don't know, Sandy, we're not getting into it tonight. This wasn't about you tonight. And Jess says I can mute her if it goes too far. Let her up. If we had a poll, okay, let the chat decide. There's 11 people in here. Blazy and Jess are a let her up. Crime Talk, vote. Holy shit, you guys are siding with Sandy. You're gonna she's gonna demand a kiss on the first date. I think she's starting to type something, Blazy, and then I don't know if she's got a finger slip or something. Sometimes I do that. Mama says let her up. Maz, what is your vote? We've heard enough. I would let her up. Holy shit. All of you people are.
I mean, hey, look, it's cool.
Max is the only one who says no. Okay. Crime Talk says, oh, whatever, Sandy, stop playing hard to get. You were begging 5 minutes ago. Crime Talk says, only if she explains the repost. Okay, that's the condition.
Yeah.
Sandy, that's the condition because Nigeria has been asking that. Okay, Sandy gets to come up. Son of a bitch, I lost the vote. Welcome, Sandy.
Hello.
Welcome.
Well, hello.
How's it going?
It is going.
a wild night.
Hold on 1 second here. I'm so sorry. Let me get this muted. All right.
You're watching TV while you're listening to us?
I'm not really watching it. It was just on in the background, but I didn't want it to like come through now. I don't know why this screen won't go away, but anyway, as long as you can hear me, that's fine. I can't see any. Hold on. I can't see any of the comments. Now, okay, never mind. Down there. Okay.
So the one condition that you're up is you have to explain Iva's homophobic and racist reposts.
Okay.
What is the explanation for those?
Okay, so the first thing is that I'm not Iva, so I'm not going to speak for Iva. However, I know what post y'all are talking about. And, you know, Iva and I talked about him yesterday, actually. And I think you had done something this week. I don't know. I really did just unblock you tonight. So I really have not been listening to your lives. So I swear that on my daughter's life. But at any rate.
Don't swear on your kid's life.
Well, I'm just saying, I haven't. I
don't believe you. I'm not going to believe you, Sandy. So we can move on.
People will screenshot y'all stuff and they'll send us videos. Like tonight, earlier, Crime Talk did a video and someone screenshotted it and sent it to us. And so, you know, we see things like that, but I don't unblock. But at any rate, back to the repost. So I am going to be honest with you. Y'all might still not like the answer, but I'm going to be honest. Like the one post that was talking about the Sesame Street. I'm sorry, but I don't think Sesame Street should be talking about sexual programming either. And
that's not what that post said.
Yeah, the Sesame Street one does. The Sesame Street one.
I think it was a flag. I don't even think it was a flag. I think it was the characters lined up in a
and they're holding
rainbow.
Hands. Yeah, and that is back when Sesame Street had made that announcement that they were going to then start doing programming that talked about. And I'm sorry, I'm not one that's ever going to. I don't even want Sesame Street talking about straight relationships.
This isn't about you. This is about Iva's repost.
You're asking about Iva.
You're saying that it's appropriate. You're saying it's appropriate.
There's also a post of, you know, a figure that is an American flag kicking a figure with, you know, with the pride flag, kicking them in the stomach. There's also that. There's also one talking about, you know, how I'm not going to watch commercials if there's not any white people in it. There is a post of I think it's a white person, but, you know, they have exaggerated Asian features. I mean, there's a lot of posts like that. And if your daughter was truly a part of the community, I mean, come on. Come on. It's
Well,
I mean, Amy was part of the community.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, she was, and I just think you can
Whether it's
blame
bi or gay,
Netflix.
it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. She liked girls. That's the part that Iva and Ron seem to be uncomfortable with. They're not uncomfortable about Tom. That's why they're like, and that's why you talk about Tom so much. They're uncomfortable with the girl part. So the bi, gay, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is, y'all are uncomfortable with her liking women.
So that's a total misconception from top to bottom. And the reason why it even gets talked about now is because it did come up in Netflix. Like in 27 years of all of the other programs, you know, TV shows, magazine articles, you name it, anything that's ever been done prior to Netflix, no one ever discussed Amy's sexuality, whether it was with, you never heard Ron and Iva talk about the fact that she had a boyfriend at the time. Like, why did that have anything to do with why she went missing? So I think what you all perceive as they are against the her being bi, it's not true. It is not true at all.
But can
But
you
they
see
brought it
how
up
that?
and they created a narrative in that show that made people believe that Amy was miserable in life and could have jumped
No,
because she was so
no.
miserable.
That's not true. I don't believe that. See, the thing is, we don't all have the same views here. We really don't.
You all might not, but we certainly saw it on our end. We
We
certainly
don't.
saw it on our end of people saying she jumped because y'all didn't accept her. She jumped because,
People say that.
and I'm
People
like,
do say that. People say a lot of shit.
but
People
that
say this
came
side.
from Netflix. Nobody
No,
was talking about Amy's sexuality
no.
before Netflix.
But at the
People
end of the day,
people
after
have
the
been saying she went
documentary,
overboard the whole time, Sandy. People are saying she went. Oh, she don't have to be gay to be suicidal.
Yeah,
You
agreed. Oh,
I
we
mean,
agree on that. We actually agree on that. So why was who she dated a part of that show?
because it
and
humanized her.
fair.
I saw more of who Amy really was by learning about her friends than I had in the 27 years before the Netflix came out.
Which is
That's
fine.
true.
Which is fine. So let's talk about a couple of things though there real quick. Why then didn't they use Tom? Why is that? That's the guy that's actually dating her at the time so why is he not important? We're going to talk about an ex-girlfriend from 3 years ago, but we're not going to talk to the current boyfriend?
I'll
Like,
give
that's
you an
not
example.
fair.
I'll give you an example. When I was Amy's age, when I was 23, I dated an older man too. He was 33. And I dated him for almost the same exact period of time that Amy dated Tom. If I had gone missing while I was dating that guy, he wouldn't have been a part of my story. 2 months out of 23 years, do the percentage on that. That's not, I mean, Molly's relationship is more significant. Kat's relationship is more significant. Her relationship with Sarah Luck is more significant. I mean, a 2 month out of 10. Do you know how many people could they have? Why aren't you mad they didn't air the uncle's footage?
We
Why
are.
don't you talk about that?
We
Why don't you all
do.
talk about that?
We do.
I watch everything, Sandy.
We
You
do.
talk about Tom almost every single time. You obsess. Like, it's almost like y'all have like this. Tom, I'm not going to say he's irrelevant, but I really don't think he's as big a part of the story of Amy's disappearance. He's not a part of he wasn't on the ship. It's Iva, Ron, and Brad. That's who I'm concerned with.
And
Well, okay, so can I just say this though real quick then? That is a perception, and what do we all say? Perception is reality. So what you all have seen on a Netflix show or what you've seen on social media. But I want you to just take a step back just for a second. In the 28 years, I've heard y'all say a couple of things right now, and I'm like, in the 28 years that Amy has been missing, Sarah Luck has never once contacted the Bradleys. Not even
You're
one
doing
time.
it again, Sandy. You turn
no,
everything
no.
around
But
on
wait a minute.
everybody else.
No, I'm not saying
I
that. I'm
don't
just saying
you
Molly
do
was
that.
still in the relationship. I mean, Molly was still involved in the Bradleys' life. Molly spent the entire day over for Easter just 2 years ago at the
Oh,
Bradleys.
oh my
So,
God.
you know, when y'all say
Nobody
that
can. One
these relationships
day
are
out
so
of
important, if they're so important, why hasn't Sarah been around? If that
I
was so
don't
important.
think a lot of people like the Bradleys. I don't think the Bradleys come off as authentic. And I don't think a lot of people trust the Bradleys. I think that y'all have gone through people, not you, Sandy. You're just another one. They're going to go through you too. How many people have they gone through over the years? I don't think the Bradleys have a good reputation. That's my opinion, and it's speculation, but you just asked why. Why doesn't Sarah? I don't think they like y'all. That's why.
and
I,
I want to say, even after the Netflix documentary, there is way more people that think that Amy was taken and kidnapped than there are people who think that she went overboard. Way more people, like a lot more people.
say that
So I
again.
don't really
What
think
did
you have to worry about, okay, people are taking away attention, because y'all have a lot of people on y'all side, a lot more people than I think, in my opinion.
But they're worried about this live that I've gotten way more people listening to this live since Sandy's been here. I had 7 people when she joined, but Sandy's worried about us.
I'm not worried about y'all, but I'm not.
Then why
I
are
mean,
you
I don't mean it
here?
like that. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying, I think that a lot of stuff gets put out there that's incorrect and that is bothersome. I heard y'all talking about Molly saying earlier that Molly said 1998 or maybe Netflix edited. No,
Okay, you
we
were listening. You were listening. You tried to tell me you weren't listening. You heard
no, no,
that.
no. Wait a minute.
Yes,
If
you
you go
were.
back and listen to what I said I did not listen until tonight. And yes, I was on the outside listening. And
Yeah, I
after
know
I
you
kept
were.
hearing that, but tonight was the first night that I have done that. I unblocked you tonight and I was listening. So, and then after y'all had said some things, I went, you know what? Let me just join. I feel like if we just have a conversation about things sometimes, like the chaos doesn't make us feel good. That's for sure. It's enough to deal with on a daily
I
basis. And
think
then
you
when you
guys
feel
should.
like people are like attacking you, it is normal for people to retreat from that and not just want to be like, oh, okay, let me wrap my arms around that. So it does feel like you all come at the Bradleys and you don't know them. You don't know them personally. You do only know them from what you've seen, through media. And so when I hear people talk about them and we know them personally, we grew up with them. I've known the Bradleys since the 8th grade. So I have a different perspective of them than you all do. I told Iva yesterday, I'm like, we have to remember that these people know you for the past 8 months, basically, and they know you through a TV screen. They don't actually know you.
I don't have to know people to analyze behavior and evidence. I don't need to know the Bradleys personally to Okay, think about this. How do people get convicted of crimes? Like y'all say Yellow did all this stuff. A jury would have to decide. Juries don't know people. I don't need to know them, Sandy. This is my whole point about this group or anybody who joins my lives. This is not about thoughts and prayers. This is about facts and logic. Okay. This is not about relationship building. I don't need to know them. And this is not 7, 8 months. This is 28 years. You have to understand, I've seen everything. My first cruise was in 1997 when I was 18. So of course, when I heard about the Amy Plea thing, I started following it, and I'm a crime person. I've been following all crimes for years. Okay. So I don't need to know people personally to be a judge and jury on them. I have a question for you though, Sandy, because you say people put out false information.
And I
You
want to
guys
say
say
something to you, Madam.
you say that often. I want to know if I have put out anything false.
Oh God, I have no recollection at this point at all. I mean, earlier, y'all were talking about, I hear things that y'all are saying. I'm not saying you're putting it out there intentionally. Y'all are, but like the Molly thing about saying Molly 1998, I don't know if Molly did misspeak and Netflix rolled with it, or if Netflix really did edit what she said. We don't know. That's what we sit over here going scratching our head. But Molly and Amy definitely dated in December of 96 and January of 97. And then Molly got mad and did not speak to Amy for the rest of the year.
How do you know
Okay,
that?
now
Yeah.
I do want to ask, did Molly tell that to you, or did Amy say that to y'all, or?
Yeah. We have a letter. We have a letter that's in Amy's handwriting. You don't even have to take my word for it. It is a letter that Amy wrote on February 4th of 1998. And
Oh, okay, I know what letter I know that letter. But like, how are y'all sure of the dates of when Amy and Molly were together?
well, we were here. I mean, we know
And
when
did
Amy was
Amy?
dating Molly.
Okay, and y'all
No, no, no,
y'all are
no.
sure that?
No, Sandy, you've you've always said they were just friends. She missed her friend.
No, see, that's why I said I love that we're finally talking, Cece. I've never said that, and we totally 1000% believe that Amy loved Molly. So that's not true. We've never said that.
Well,
We
I've
truly
watched.
believe that Molly. We do believe that yes, Amy did date Kat, but I will tell you that that didn't end well, and Amy definitely did not think highly of Kat at all, and that's another conversation. But Amy absolutely loved Molly. And I mean, she definitely tried to reconcile with Molly over that year of 1997. She really did try. And Molly says that in the show. She does say that Amy continued to write letters. Amy kept trying to talk, and she was like, nope, I'm just not going to do that. Molly was hurt. And
So,
we all
but the
knew it,
point,
but it is what it is. But
timelines are important. And Molly said she got that letter was dated 1 month prior on
it's true.
February.
That's
Okay.
true. Yeah, that's true. All true. So,
But
but
you're
that letter,
saying that it wasn't romantic.
it wasn't. So, and we
And
have,
That's
that's where
wild
I
of you.
highly
That's
disagree.
wild of you,
That's
Sandy.
where I really
have y'all
disagree.
seen the letter? Have you seen the
Yes.
letter? No, you
Yeah,
haven't seen the letter.
that's where that's just where respectfully I have to just disagree.
Okay, so we didn't have the letter. We had never seen. So I'm going to back up and give you some little insight on this. So in 2018 is when we found that letter, that the February 4th letter of 1998. And Iva reached out to Molly then and was like, hey, I have this letter. Do you want it? Well, Molly didn't come and get it, but it was fine. So a couple of years later, Molly would always come and visit and everything. And then when they're over there on that Easter, which is like 2023, Easter of 2023, when Molly's there with them all day long, that is the first time in all of this time that Molly has ever mentioned the message in the bottle. Like,
And I
It was
also
private.
want to follow up on something with that. Why do y'all think that Molly cut off contact with y'all?
okay, I'll get there too.
Okay.
But I want to tell you that Molly came to the Bradley's house 2 weeks after Amy disappeared because she'd gotten that postcard in the mail. So she came over there and told them about the postcard that she got, but she didn't tell them about the message in the bottle. So now fast forward, it's now 2023. And she's there and she brings up the message in a bottle. Molly goes home, gets the message in the bottle, makes a video, and reads a part of that letter. and sent the video to the Bradleys through a like a Dropbox link, and then she allowed them to watch it, and then she removed it. And so then Iva was like, "Wait a minute, I was trying to watch it again. Can you put it back in there?" And Molly never did. So they only got a little glimpse of it. They never saw it. They never saw it. All they had was a video of her reading a portion of it. So fast forward now, we don't know. We still to this day don't understand what happened with Molly. And that's, you know, Iva says that all the time. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's somebody that we loved and cared about. We've never had a fight. We've never had a falling out. We don't know. And when Netflix contacted Molly and said, we're going to do this documentary and we'd like, you know, to talk to you about it, Molly called the Bradleys and we're like, hey, you know, all of this. And of course they were encouraging her to do it. Molly said, no, I just don't want to do it. It's, you know, it's too hurtful to me, you know, all of those things. And they were like, well, that's your choice, but you know, we're just, you know, whatever. And then the next thing you know, Molly is doing the documentary, and then she never spoke to the Bradleys again. And we have the Iva was texting Molly, not this past September, but the September of 2024. And, you know, just trying to check in, and like Molly just literally stopped talking. There was no fight, there was no argument, but she just stopped. And then they found out later on that Molly had participated in the documentary. So I was like, well, I don't know why that would make her stop talking to us. Like we told her to do the documentary. So we don't know. We have no idea. I guess Molly one day, maybe she will explain that, but we're clueless on that too. However, fast forward, then the whole message in the bottle thing comes out. And I asked Iva one day, I went, well, did you read the message in the bottle? And she went, Sandy, I've never even seen the message in the bottle. And this is in November, by the way, of last year. So what, 5 months after the show was even out? And I went, you've never read the message in the bottle? And she went, no, nobody's ever shown me. So I told Iva to contact Ari Mark and say that we needed samplings of Amy's handwriting, and that is one of the last known written letters by Amy, and we'd like to get a copy. And Ari did send it. So we finally got a copy of that message in the bottle. And I'm telling you, I promise you, Amy never once used the word love. So for someone to say that it's a love letter, I'm like, wouldn't you say I love you, or I'm in love with you, or I'm, you know, I want to be in a relationship with you? That's not said, guys. That is not
I
what was said in
Why
that
don't
letter.
personally
you?
disagree. I don't feel
Me
like
too.
you have to say I love you for it to read like a love letter. In my opinion, it did read like a love letter. It definitely read like she had deep love for the person she was writing it to.
You don't
In my
find that
opinion, just because
romantic,
she
Sandy? That's not romantic. That's
So
romantic.
the whole message in the bottle, I think after
Yeah.
she had been trying for 14 months to get Molly to talk to her, and Molly was not responding in any way, shape, or form, I think, you know, again, Amy, hopefully, if she is out there one day, will be able to speak for herself and explain herself. But I think Amy was looking for a big way. Y'all have to remember that Molly and Amy were childhood friends. They were on swim teams together, and they had
Nobody cares, Sandy.
and I
Nobody
mean,
cares.
and in my opinion, that makes the love all that much more stronger.
Yeah.
You try 14
Well,
months
you
to
what?
get
So
in
you're
touch with
so
somebody.
you're
You gotta
telling
love
us.
them. In my
No,
opinion,
no, no.
you have to love
You're
them.
you're telling
Um,
us you're telling us Molly's a liar
lying about what?
about her relationship with Amy and about her and Amy getting back together after she came back from the cruise. And it wasn't a love letter. It was just, I miss my friend. And you're telling me Molly's tears weren't romantic, longing tears. You're seriously telling us that. You're telling
No,
us Molly lied
I'm
to
not saying.
Netflix.
No, we do believe that Molly had feelings for Amy, and we
Oh, you're
also
saying
believe
Amy didn't have feelings back.
I'd already said this 10 minutes
It
ago.
was,
We
but
definitely believe that Amy had feelings for Molly, but Amy had tried for 14 months to get Molly to talk to her, and Molly wasn't responding. Molly was not returning phone calls. Molly was not returning the letters. There
Molly
was
Molly
nothing
and
from
Amy
Molly.
got together at her new apartment before she left.
And that was after the message in the bottle. The message in the bottle was the thing that finally
None of
made.
this is romantic. You're telling me none of this is romantic.
I think if you read the letter, I
No,
think it would be
answer the
easier.
question. It's not, you're telling me none of this is romantic. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, first of all, your first question was about Molly. Molly is crying. Molly is seeming like
Oh
she's.
my God, you
And she
guys,
even
why
said
won't,
that
it's a
this is the.
really, it's
Molly
yes or
even said,
no.
"This is the person I love."
Don't justify it to me. You're telling me that Molly and Amy didn't have a mutually romantic relationship, and you're telling me that they didn't have plans to be romantically together when you're telling me none of this was romantic from February to March 1998. Is that what you're telling me? Pick a side, Sandy.
I am, and it's like you don't
Yes
want
or
to.
no?
I'm
No,
not.
this isn't
Listen,
complicated.
we have differences of opinion, and this is where it gets as I have
You won't give yours.
that,
You won't
that
give your
letter on
opinion.
February 4th that Amy
You
wrote
won't
to
give it.
Molly. Hold on.
Yes or no?
I'm trying to, but you won't let me. On
It's
February 4th, Amy is writing Molly and telling Molly all about Tom. So why is Amy doing that 3 weeks before the message in the bottle?
And in that, and but did she
read the
send the
chat,
letter?
Sandy.
Did she send the letter?
I'm not reading that chat. I'm just talking to you.
Did she send that
The
letter?
chat wants to know yes or no.
What did the chat say? I don't know.
They
I haven't
want to
read
know yes or no. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say Molly's misrepresenting what was going to happen because we don't know Amy's version?
Right.
So we only have to trust Molly's version. Molly's version was they were going to get back together. They were going to work on it. They were going to be romantic together. That's Molly's version. Are you telling me that that's not true and that Molly has no idea what she's talking about?
We have no clue. But all I am saying is that the message in the bottle is not Amy asking for Molly to be in a relationship.
How
But
do you know?
And
because
that's
I
where I
have the letter.
disagree respectfully.
I have the
I mean,
letter. I read it. I have the letter. I
well,
know what the
That's
letter
where I
I
says.
disagree
mean,
respectfully.
you know what? I've seen Amy's naked body. I think that I probably should have read the letter before I saw Amy naked. I mean, why
Well,
is there
we
certain
didn't.
things
But
released that and certain things not? You won't
okay,
pick a side. Say Molly's a liar. Say it. Why do you think Molly's not talking to you?
we
Talking to the
don't
brothers?
know. We don't
But
know.
because you guys are
You want me
fucking
Okay,
to?
so
You
disrespectful. You're
want?
so
also,
disrespectful.
Sandy, I've read in a comment, you were replying to somebody's comment, and I don't know if you were referring to just Kat as this or Kat and Molly, but I took it as Kat and Molly because it was plural on the end. You referred to them as crazy lesbians, okay? And so I mean, what's that about?
I think I can't be sure, but I think I called them angry lesbians.
Angry
But
or crazy, something like
yeah,
that. And with Molly, what has she really done to deserve to be called that?
nothing. So if I had an S on that, I don't even know. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But Molly's never done anything to us at all, at all. So Molly's
Why
not
are you
interested in our
dismissing her
conversation.
Then why are you dismissing her relationship with Amy?
I haven't, and that's you putting words in my mouth. I've already told you multiple
You said,
times that
no,
we
you said
believe
if
that
you read the
Amy
letter, you would
absolutely
know it
loved.
wasn't, if you read the letter, you would know she wasn't asking for that. But here's the thing is you don't know the a lot of private conversations have to lead up to letters. And then they were even together. Like,
Okay,
you
so
don't drive hours.
I've heard you. So let me just give you a different perspective, and you said you take in all the facts. If Amy has attempted for 14 months to,
I don't know that, Sandy. I really don't.
Molly is telling you herself on there
Here's the
that,
thing.
that
I
Amy
think the
kept
point
trying.
is none of this had anything to do with what
Agreed.
happened
Agreed. That's what irritates
on
us
the
too.
ship.
Yeah.
Then why the fuck do you guys talk about it all the time? Maybe stop. How about this? 30 days, no Cat, no Molly in your language. Don't talk about them.
We 1000% agree with you. And the podcast and the stuff that we're working on, we've made it very clear that we're not talking about anything having to do with who Amy dated because it has nothing to
I
do.
noticed that. I noticed that. I don't know if it's a wise move, but I did notice it. We'll see how the podcast comes out, you know.
Okay, so I just on this situation that this is just where I respectfully disagree with you, but I do want to ask you about something else. Have the Bradleys, Brad, Ivor, or Ron, have they recently, or in the past couple of years, have they physically been over to any of the islands?
No.
Okay, why is that?
Well, Ron and Iva are in their 70s, first and foremost. They still work full-time jobs. They're not retired. They're not living the high life over here. They
Yeah,
are
they
still
are.
working. They are still working full-time jobs at 73 and at 75 years old. I mean, I don't plan on being working at that time, but they are. And I don't think anybody ever gives what they went through any value or any credit. Like it is
No, they're the
very
victims.
dramatic for them. I mean, why there you can't even talk to Iva without her busting out crying. How
And
helpful would
Not
she
true.
that,
be?
and
Not
it
true.
really, in my opinion, that's just just something else I just have to respectfully disagree with you on. In my opinion, that's your child. I feel like there's only so much that podcasts and stuff can do. If your child is really over there and your child is being held against her will, she's being tortured 24/7.
Great.
Why are we not
Every day.
physically putting boots on the ground? I mean, you're 70, but your child is in danger.
Yeah, but
You-
they were
you
once
work, but
40.
your
They
child
were
is
once
in danger.
50. They were once
Your-
60. And
Yeah,
They
your
go
your
there.
child is in danger. Yeah, you're 70, but your child is in danger. Yeah, you work, but your child is in danger. Yeah, you're going through stuff, but your child is in danger. In my opinion, your child should always come first, no matter what your child's needs.
my
Your
dad would do
child's
my
safety. In
my
my
dad
opinion,
would do
I feel like when
anything
we,
for me.
I feel like when
My
we
dad
look,
would go anywhere for me.
Well, Jess from Curacao, who's on here, she can kind of give you probably more insight on that because she's the one that came to us and said that, she had changed her mind, that she's always thought that Amy wasn't around, but she had gotten information and she provided information about who these people were. And she will tell you, or at least she told us, let's put it that way, how dangerous they were. I
And that's-
am never ever
that's an-
going to suggest that anybody
Oh, Sandy,
that is not
Sandy,
qualified
she
should go back
she
over there.
recorded every phone call, so we've heard them. Don't worry, we all know.
and
Which is
that's the
ridiculous.
thing. If
It's
it's
insane.
it's dangerous, and your child is the one, she's in danger. It's dangerous, and your child is in the danger. I mean,
I'm
I
not
feel like
qualified.
that's just kind of a given. If your child is in danger, okay, I'm gonna put myself out. I'm ready to put myself in danger to get back my child. That's just what I'm willing to do.
I get it.
Like,
So, and I get it, but there's other people that go, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not qualified for this. I need people that are qualified for this to help me. And
Said
I
that.
know I'm not, if something happens to my daughter, I'm going to be devastated, but I'm going to be looking at resources for people that can actually do something because what is going to happen to me? I'm going to go over there. I'm going to get
Let's
myself
talk about the
killed, and
resources.
now
Let's
nobody.
talk about your resources then.
but I mean, okay, but you had the parents, you have the biggest qualification out of everybody, and that is the love that you have for your child. You are the only two people on the face of this earth that love your child the way that you do. And that is a qualification that only you have.
So
And I
white
mean,
people.
and that's just that. And
two
I
white
feel like
people.
when we,
Oh my God, you're making it about
Growing up-
fucking race. Like there's not fucking white people on these islands, yo. Stop.
Not- wait a
and I
minute,
feel like,
hold on.
and another
That's
thing,
not what I'm saying. The people that they are implying have Amy. You don't think
Good.
if Ron and Iva walk up, these two
I would-
people walk up
I'll
in the
walk
middle
up.
of them, that they're
I'll
not
do
going to
it.
be like,
I'll fucking walk up. You think I won't?
But I feel like when we have tourists on TikTok that are over on the islands and that have the guts to go up to people, where's Amy? Where's it? May not be doing anything, but when we have tourists who have the guts to do that, but the family won't even do that. That, in my opinion, that says a lot. It
Well,
speaks words.
the only thing I will say about that is that no, other than the first time that they went back, and they came, they have not been back themselves, but you all are incorrect that we haven't been there, and not just Curacao. So that's all I'll say. And we are
Oh, we
definitely out.
know a lot of them. We know a
No,
lot of
I'm
them.
but I'm
None
talking
of them
about
are
the
they don't
family,
matter.
not the PIs. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Brad, Iva, and Ron specifically. And then this is just what made me think, okay, if you really thought that your daughter was still alive and over there, you would be over there. This is what makes me think that, whatever happened, it just makes me think that deep down, they know that she's not still with us. Because in my opinion, if they thought that she was, they would be over there looking, or they would have been over there looking at some point. In my opinion, that's just inexcusable, and you're not gonna find too many parents that would be like that.
Look at Natalie Holloway's mom. She went and lived in Aruba. Look at, I mean, there's so many cases. And also, I don't think that a parent would apply for a death certificate so soon. And I've asked this question because there's a lot of missing people, Sandy. There's people missing for 20, 30, 40 years, right? What do those families do? Do those families file for death certificates? Often not. I mean, if Amy came back right now, Sandy, it would be a nightmare. She doesn't exist. And I can legally say Amy's dead. Like in the beginning, people would be mad at me when I would say Amy's dead. People would be so mad at me. You can't say that. You can't say that. Yes, I can. Sue me. I will prove in a court that Amy's dead because there's a death certificate. So if Amy comes back, what is that process?
Yeah.
Because she's dead, y'all. Sorry.
We do from our perspective, we do feel like there were definitely things that were not handled correctly by that cruise ship from the moment they said that Amy was missing till
Oh
the
my
Friday
God.
morning. So that was
We're
what the
not
lawsuit
talking
was
about the
about.
cruise ship.
I am. You asked me about the lawsuit, so I'm saying there
No,
were
I said
things that
I didn't ask you about the lawsuit. I said Amy is dead, legally dead. That has nothing to do with the lawsuit.
Yes, it
That
does. If
was
you
a
let me
separate.
finish,
It was.
if you would just let me speak, I was just trying to explain that to you. In
I've
order
heard
for
it.
them to, in order for them, and go and look it up, you do your research, but in order for them to file that lawsuit against Royal Caribbean, they had to claim her as dead. Not because they wanted to, but because they felt like Royal Caribbean was wrong in the way that they handled it, and they were required to do that before that they could go after Royal Caribbean. So that's why it was done.
I wanna ask another question. Did at any point, like, I don't know if you've talked to the Bradleys about this or if they've shared this with you, but at any point did they ever believe that Amy could have possibly went overboard?
No.
So, like, not even in the beginning or anything.
I think we strongly believe that she definitely would not have done it intentionally. But even after, I think the reason why they felt so strongly after the fact was how adamant everybody was that she wasn't in the water.
Okay. Because I was bringing up Tom, but in the Tom interview, I know Tom mentioned that he had talked to somebody in y'all's family or connected to y'all's family, and they told him that they thought that Amy went overboard. So how would he have gotten that?
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can you say that one more time?
So in an interview, I guess Tom did with Nate and Brad, he said that somebody, it was in y'all's family or close to them, I can't remember which one he said, but they told him, we think she went overboard. and in the beginning that was his impression. So where would that have came from?
I don't know, and I don't. I mean, we can all go back and watch that interview, but I don't think Tom said that. But I'm not.
Yeah, he did. He did. I remember.
Okay,
it.
then who did he say then?
He said it in the interview with Brad and Nate Eaton. He said at first we all thought Amy went overboard.
I'll go back and look to be sure.
Okay.
But
Also, Tom also had a discrepancy with Brad about when they finally did they actually catch up to that car or did they not? Tom says they didn't. Brad says they caught up to it and there was only one guy in it. So I mean, like, there is inconsistency, Sandy, and you have to acknowledge that. But after they add up so many, and some seem intentional or lazy, so you have to, like, a lot of it looks, I mean, honestly, Sandy, my thought is I have no idea what happened, but I'll tell you what, I smell a cover up. This thing is stinky like a cover up. The lies, the inconsistencies, the pivoting timelines, the changing narratives.
So look at that.
Like, for instance, Brad in many interviews said she didn't go missing when we were out to sea. We get so offended when they say lost at sea. We weren't at sea. We were in the harbor. But then Iva wrote a letter to Bill Clinton saying international waters. And then suddenly you're talking about international waters again in your live on Tuesday night. So what is it? Did she go missing in international waters, or were you about to go into Curacao when she went missing? I mean, like, the timeline is wild. And after 28 years, for that not to be buttoned up, it's no wonder that this case has not evolved further since, I mean, like, really, there's no new news there's nothing, no progress from day one till today. None.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're like, I mean, for Brad, did you see my new videos today, Sandy? You should check them out. You're going to hate them. But it'll give you guys things to think about when you're answering your next questions. I've made, I think, 4 videos today. The Jim Carrey video. Do we want to talk about the PI?
Well,
I mean, there's so much to talk about, Sandy. The PI is janky, yo. Do you know what I call him? I call him a Cracker Jack box PI because he's not real and he's free. That's what I call him. I'm just being transparent with you. So he's working pro bono. The word on the street is he's not licensed. And maybe is that why he's working pro bono? Is he licensed? Because he'll tell you that he's licensed state and federally, but that's weird. That's a weird response.
And he worked on the Natalie Holloway case. So why is he not credible when he has?
I don't know that he worked on the Natalie Holloway case. I just know that he said he did.
Oh my gosh, y'all just said her name. Natalie's mother. I'm so sorry. What's her name? What?
Beth?
Beth. Sorry. Beth is who introduced the Bradleys to the PI. That's how we have him. It came from Beth.
Okay. But is he licensed?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
In what state?
I don't know where that kind of stuff comes from, but
in what state?
I'm not giving out his personal info. I'm sure if he
That's
wants to put
public.
that out, then
Public.
he can do that. But yeah,
What
right.
state?
So
I mean, that's like being a lawyer. Where do you have?
What other case he worked on? Oh my God, I don't know why I'm forgetting names, but the guy that played
Is there-
for the Patriots.
baseball
Remember that guy?
Are you talking about the football team?
The Patriots. The guy that was on the Patriots team that he ended up murdering his friend.
Oh, yeah.
He worked on that case.
Aaron Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez. He worked on that case too.
Look at me knowing cases and
I know, 'cause
names.
I'm like too tired at this point to like think.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
I haven't seen much evidence that he really did. But I mean, the bigger story is he licensed? Because private investigators are licensed in the state in which they work.
Mhm.
So I don't know, is he licensed
Yeah,
in
he's licensed.
any state in the union?
Yeah. And he meets with the FBI all the time. So
I thought they wouldn't talk to
I
you
don't know
guys.
why that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, but
here's an interesting thing. Did you see the new Hollywood Reporter article?
yeah. And that's why the video got sent by Crime Talk earlier, because she was reporting on that. But y'all know that's all false, right? And so we saw it.
No,
We saw
I
it.
mean, come on, Sandy. We read it. This is
Y'all
how
really
we started
think?
the live.
Okay, I'm just going to ask y'all to use, I'm just being honest, common sense. Would our investigative team contact Ari Mark to give him an update personally before our investigative team told Ron, Brad, or Iva? No. And that same Hollywood Reporter, by the way,
Ooh.
is the same one that did this about 4 months ago. And so we went back and were addressing Hollywood Reporter then. We were like, name your source. They never came back. They wouldn't. Ari Marcus said he's never spoken to Hollywood Reporter. He doesn't know why they say that kind of stuff. He doesn't know where they got that story. And so when it came out, we got the story this morning. And of course, we're all like, what the hell is this again?
So
Here we
Ari,
go.
Mark, you're saying that this author is lying?
He's definitely like, and we can't even get a credible
So
name.
Ari, his name is Tony Maglio. Maglio.
Yep. We already went down this road with him back like 4 months ago, because he's the
Good.
one that put out
I'll
the
follow.
article. He's the one that put out that article that said
I
that the
saw it. We read it.
Yeah, that was all false. And Ari Marquez, like, I don't even know this guy. I have never spoken to him. I've never said anything about the Senorita kidnap. And so then when we kept pushing and saying, okay, well, Ari's saying he hasn't spoken to you. He's never told you this. Like, who is your source? Of course, he pulled the old, oh, I can't, tell my sources. We were like, but you said it was Ari. And Ari's telling you it's not him. So where are we? You're putting out false information. So it's kind of crazy that he's done it again.
It honestly, the way that because I read it in depth over and over again today, the way that the quotes were, like, Tony is quoting as an author, as a journalist. He's putting his name out there
They did on
as
the
an author. He's well, we gave you grace on that one. Maybe now we'll give him grace and find out. Maybe we'll contact him and find out what's. Maybe we'll contact his boss and say, your boy is playing around on the internet like a wild man. But here's the thing, Sandy. This is why I believed it.
I would love for y'all to do that.
Okay,
Please.
so I
Please go do that.
found the clip of Tom saying that. I can play it for y'all if y'all want me to.
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on. Here it goes.
But I was working out of town, so I was at work at a restaurant in Williamsburg, and I got a phone call from Erin. And Erin told me, she goes, they think Amy's vanished. They think that maybe she's fallen overboard. We don't know. And so I immediately.
Okay, so
go back on Tuesday when they said that they have searched the boat, which they really didn't. We didn't know that. They didn't know that at the time, but they did not search the whole entire boat.
Objection. Seriously, I watch a lot of court things. Your answers are non-responsive. They say objection, non-responsive. That means the witness isn't answering the question. You just went off on this whole other thing. You didn't acknowledge that Tom said that.
He said it. Okay, so now I'm trying to take you back to that day so that you understand why Erin said what she said. So we're not on Friday when Erin calls Tom. Erin's calling Tom on Tuesday. And at that point, on Tuesday, they were telling the Bradleys that Amy wasn't on the ship, so she had to have been in the water. That's why the whole water search started. So when Erin's calling Tom on Tuesday, they do think Amy has gone overboard. That's why the water search is going on.
And did the Bradleys believe them when they were told that?
Say that again.
Did the Bradleys believe them when they were told that? When they were told, okay, Amy has to be in the water. Did they believe that?
Yeah, that's why they got off the ship.
That was the original question, Sandy, and you just you do the run around a lot, non-responsive. You argue your answer before you give your answer.
I thought the question was, why did Tom believe that she went overboard?
No. That wasn't the question.
Well,
Mass 1528 in the chat has been saying this. I try not to read the chat because I'm talking to y'all, but yeah, it's a really manipulative move. It's just answer. It's like if you were in court, like I think Brad and Iva and Ron failed all these depositions with all their lies because they don't get, like, you have to answer the question, you have to answer factually. You can't play games and keep pivoting. And you're doing it too, Sandy. You do it a lot. This
I
is
don't know if
feedback.
I'm saying her name correctly, so I do apologize if I am, but I feel confident that Nikeria, is that right? Am I saying that correctly? Nikeria? I feel she said that Tom said that she went overboard and somebody had told him that and she wanted to know why. So that's why I was saying that.
So
Aaron called Tom.
at first, I did ask, did the Bradleys ever think that Amy went overboard? And you did say no.
Okay, meaning, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. And at that moment on Tuesday, if you go, yeah, I see what you're saying. But in their
Yeah.
heart, they didn't feel like when
Just
she was
get-
missing that morning, they didn't feel that way. They weren't at the purser's desk saying, "I
You
think my
don't-
daughter's gone overboard." It was
You
after
don't
they had searched that they came back and said, "We've searched. She's not on." So she must have gone overboard. That they're like, "Oh." So yes, I guess yes, that would be a factual answer to say they didn't initially think that, but they were led to believe that. So that is in fact when they got off the ship. And then when Amy wasn't found or anything of Amy's, they were like, "We're getting back on that ship."
Okay,
So-
Sandy, I'm going to argue that point with you because they say that. They say, oh, the next day when Amy wasn't found, we decided we got to get back on that ship.
Yeah.
Sandy, how long was that? Was the largest water search in Curacao history. How long did it go?
Jess Curacao, Jess can tell you that. She says that she claims that she sat on a patio and watched the whole entire thing. So I'm sure y'all already know.
That wasn't the objection, non-responsive. That
I
wasn't
don't
the
know
question.
I don't know the time frame. I mean, I
It
don't know
was
what that.
5 days.
Yeah.
So the Bradleys say the next day when they didn't find Amy, they said she wasn't in the water. We needed to catch up to that ship. The search went on for 5 days, Sandy. So that's not like the way that the Bradleys paint and all of these pictures. They didn't know that Amy wasn't found the next day. That search went on for 5 days. I don't need Jess to answer that question. This isn't about Jess. It's about the Bradleys' answers to why they did certain things. They didn't know that Amy wasn't in the water. They just knew that the FBI was going to show up and maybe they should probably get there.
So, and I also want to ask, so Ron woke up at what, like around 6, and he didn't see Amy out there. Now, I could be wrong about this, but did he say that something woke him up at around 6 and he looked and he didn't see her?
Yeah.
Or am I like remembering that wrong?
Yeah. He said he woke up and she wasn't there.
Did he say that like something woke him up? Like he.
Yeah. And he has said he doesn't know what that was. Was it a door shutting? We don't know. But something woke him up. He has no clue, but he woke up.
Okay, thanks.
Let's talk about the missing jeans.
The missing jeans?
Yep. The missing blue jeans.
I don't know about the missing blue jeans.
I know it's wild how the stories change over time. You should watch some of the old documentaries, like the old the Beth Holloway one. You should watch the Unsolved Mysteries one, where Ron says, and Amy's yellow shirt was there, and a pair of jeans were missing. She changed into jeans, and then Deshi saw her in jeans and a white shirt. What about that? What happened to that? The missing blue jeans.
I don't
It's
know.
documented. You should probably watch the old documentaries. Ask Ron.
Okay. I don't know anything. That's literally the first time I'm hearing anything about missing jeans.
Yep, it's documented. Ron said it out of his own mouth.
Okay.
Missing pair of blue jeans, but we have no idea about the shoes. Wild. Do you see why we are so distrusting of the Bradleys after we bring up all these things that we've
Well,
seen over the years?
yeah. But I don't know about missing jeans, so I can't speak on that. So I don't
Send me a
know.
clip. I'll make a video about it. I'll make a video. You can just check my page. That means you can't block me. Just don't report me. I don't have followers. I'm not trying to be a creator, but I'll tell you what, when people try to silence me, I get louder. And I'll figure out a way to be louder if it can't be on TikTok. I mean, right now I'm pretty satisfied with my 200 followers and my 7 friends, you know?
Right.
Do you think that it's possible that what Ron heard when he woke up could have possibly been Amy going overboard?
If you believe that theory, yes.
Okay. Did he and did he ever say why he went to look for, like, when, okay, he woke up, he didn't see her, and then he kind of just got up and, went and, searched around for her a little bit. Personally, I found that strange. I mean, she's 23. Now their dynamic could be different, but that's just me. I found that a little strange.
Mm-hmm. Amy is definitely a daddy's girl. And this is the same guy that went up there and checked on him, at 3 o'clock too. I
He
mean,
checked on Brad. He didn't
And
check on Amy. He didn't check
that's
on
the thing. He, okay, he went and he checked on him. Now, in my opinion, in the video with Yellow, Amy looked pretty. She looked pretty drunk. I mean, he left her out there. He went and checked on him, but he left them there. But then when he wakes up, he doesn't see Amy. He goes out and looks, and then he comes back and he taps Iva and he says, I can't find her. But I mean, she was out all night.
but it just seemed odd, right? Like she's come back into that room to go to bed. So you're expecting her to be in bed, or asleep, knowing that y'all are going to be leaving in a few hours to have your day in Curacao. So it was like,
That's,
where does she go?
and
Like,
that's where I personally I just find things strange. I just think, okay, you leave your daughter downstairs, she's drunk, she's clearly drunk, and you look up at 5:30 and you see her out there. So it's been hours since you saw your child and you were content with that, but then when you can't find her in a certain amount of time, you get really, really worried. That doesn't really make sense to me.
I mean, there's only but so many common areas at 6 o'clock in the morning that Amy would have been at. It's not like the Viking Lounge and all of that, there's anything going on at that time. So
Oh, really? Because I thought there was a waitress yelling. I mean, stop. Somebody,
I said going on. I said going on. Like Amy would have been up there. Like it's not the disco. It's not the
Wow.
dancing under the stars. There's nothing going on at 6 o'clock. So the typical places that you would expect that she might have gone at 6 o'clock, meaning to go get a cup of coffee or, go look at the sunrise and, from a good, like those kind of places, like you've checked them and you've been looking and you're like, she's not in not any of those places. And then you go back to the room thinking, well, maybe she's back in the room and I've just missed her. And then you get back to the room and she's not there. And it's like, well, shit. I've been out
And
there before.
but it's just the comparison for me. Okay, you can go to sleep and sleep well, and your daughter is downstairs with people you don't know, and she's clearly drunk. Comparing that to the level of panic when you can't find your daughter in a short amount of time, it doesn't make sense to me. It's strange to me. They're just comparing, like, the level of panic here compared to the level of panic there.
I wasn't there, but
Well, I've
it would be an easy thing to say. Like if y'all are going down the path of that the Bradleys are 1,000,000% saying that Yellow did something, then if Yellow had given her something the night before and she was out there slurring her words or acting drunk or anything on the, balcony, that'd be an easy one to say, oh, he must have given her something, right? Brad has never said that. Brad has never said that she came back to that room, falling down drunk, slurring her words or anything. He's like, no, that's not who came back into that room.
You're
But-
not. I think you're not. I think you're missing the point of what Nigeria is saying. It's not about Brad.
No, she said that she left him up, that Ron has left her up there being drunk. And that
In my opinion, looking at the video, she was drunk. She had a little something in her. I mean, I feel like that's clear to see. And even then, I mean, she's a daddy's girl. Okay, let's take away the fact that she's drunk. No, because she's had drinks in her system. We know that. I mean, they did know that she's had drinks in her system, right? Like
Yeah.
they were aware of
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
So I mean, whether she's drunk, she's had alcohol in her system, and she's out there.
And there's probably a part that, these kids, I say kids, they weren't kids, they were adults. They're 21 and they're 23. And so there's probably, even Ron going back out there and checking on them at 3 probably was like, I want to go and check, but at the same time, I don't, what were they going to be like? Dad, leave us.
Why are you? He
I'm just saying.
said he woke up and they weren't back, and he was worried about Brad.
Yeah.
He didn't say he was worried about Amy.
But that's assuming that he's only worrying about one shot. When he went back up there, he certainly
I'm not
went to
assuming.
check.
I listened to the interviews, Sandy. I'm not assuming. I know what they said.
That interaction that had happened before is what prompted him to go up there. But it's not like he went up there and said, I'm only going to go check on Brad, though. I'm never, ever going to look for Amy while I'm up there because I don't care about her. I'm only going to go look for Brad. Like, that's insane. Of course,
He was
went
much
up there
worried.
for
He
a
was worried
reason.
about Brad. He wasn't worried about Amy. That's the point.
That's not true at all. That is
Now,
not true at all.
okay,
That's
I
not
want to
true.
He
also.
said it. He said it.
He said, I didn't care about Amy. He never said that. He said, I went up there because of
he
Brad and I
went-
just wanted to check.
He was
But
worried Brad was getting his ass beat in the corner by a married man.
yeah, but
Yeah.
once he
He
looked
didn't
at
say
Brad, Brad
anything
was like,
about
I'm
Amy.
good.
I don't want. You're putting words into your. He didn't say Amy. He said Brad. That's my point. Concede it. It's
I
that's
also
it.
want to bring up the unaliving thing, and I think that y'all may have when it comes to that, I think y'all may be thinking that most people that believe in that theory don't believe that Amy had this thing planned out before the cruise. I mean, most unalivings are not planned. They're in the moment things.
Well, I'm very familiar
They're,
with that.
they're in the moment things. And Amy, okay, she had a lot of stuff going for her. But that doesn't mean that mentally that a lot of times people miss the signs. A lot of times people miss the signs, and most people don't want to believe that their loved one would do that to themselves. Because now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Brad, somebody he knew, or he had a friend or
Brad's
something
best friend.
that
Brad's
did
best
that, and
friend.
he said that
And
he
Brad
didn't.
missed the signs. He
He didn't
missed
see any
all the
signs.
signs. And I
He
clipped
didn't
that
see
too,
anything.
Sandy. I clipped it. Go look at my page. Brad missed all the signs. He said he had no idea, and he said go check on your friends. So how do you all does Brad say that out of one side and then tries to convince the public that he knows for a fact that Amy didn't do that? Why do you think we don't trust Brad? Here's another example. And not just another one. Just add it to the pile of why Brad doesn't make sense to me.
Just because she made plans, for her to get back to does not mean that she is incapable of taking her own life. People make plans. Most people that take their own lives have future plans, but they still take their lives because a lot of the times they don't plan to do it. That they don't. Most suicides, a lot of suicides, are not planned. They're not. I mean, a person can look like they have it all going on, but mentally, I mean, nobody truly knows how a person is feeling except that person. And a lot of times, families miss the signs. Most families never suspect that their loved one would do something like this. And most people that do that, they don't want to clue in their family that mentally they're not okay. And Brad, again, he did say that he had a friend and he didn't see the signs. So I mean,
We knew Mark had struggled with depression at times. We definitely didn't know that it was at that level. And I think what Brad, I'm not going to speak for Brad, but what I think he's trying to, or maybe he was trying to explain, was that there were things that were going on with Mark that we didn't know. But once he did unalive himself and we had access to, emails and his phone and things of this nature, then we saw it. But he wasn't obviously being upfront and honest and telling us what was really going on.
Did
in his
you,
life.
as just friends, not relatives, not wives, not kids, did you really get access to his emails and his phone? Like you
Mark,
just said, Sandy?
not me.
Well, you said
Not
we, but you got to stop
well,
using, I will tell you, as a viewer of all this Amy Bradley stuff, I have a request. And my request is that you not use the pronoun we, because things happen like, I don't know, Jim Carrey will say, oh, we went down and tried to do the buyback deal. Jim Carrey wasn't on your team in 1999. Jim Carrey didn't do that buyback deal. Oh, by the way, Sandy, the buyback document contract that y'all released, you guys annotated that Jim Carrey signed it, but he wasn't on your team until 2018 when Natalie Holloway's mom introduced him to you. So why did you say that it was Jim Carrey that signed that contract? I have so many fucking questions.
and I just, oh, okay.
Why? That
I've
deal
never
happened
said
in
that.
99.
I have never said that Jim signed any contract because I haven't said anybody signed any contract. I don't even.
I'm calling you're the Bradleys. In my mind, you
You
are the
just said I'm
Bradleys.
not we. You just said I'm not we. So am I
No,
we?
I'm saying
or
when
am I
you
not? I mean,
I'm saying when you speak, don't say we if you didn't do it. But when I speak to you, you're speaking for them. You're their spokesperson, Sandy, right? You
I'm not.
speak for them.
There's plenty
Yeah,
of
you
people
are.
that speak for them, but I am one of many that speak for
Okay.
them.
So when I meant to like not be pointed to you, but when I'm speaking to you in these terms, you're the Bradleys. So why did they annotate that contract that Jim Carrey signed it? I'll send you screenshots. And but he didn't work for you back then. So that's the we, because Jim Carrey will tell you we went and did the buyback deal. And then the contract's annotated like he signed that. But he didn't work for you back then, and he'll tell you that he didn't do the buyback deal if you ask him.
Yeah.
So there's some weird shady shit going on, Sandy. There's a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was saying we, meaning the Bradleys at that time, but no, he was not
Yeah.
involved in that, and he did not sign any contract. And I don't know what y'all are actually talking about, but I mean,
Well, yeah.
I want to just bring this back around to Brad, they were there looking for her, and Brad, they were in the car. Brad said, and other people in the car heard it too. Brad said, he swears up and down that he heard Amy call his name. And that's the one thing that I can't get over, because she said, and this is what he thinks. She said Brad. She didn't call for the FBI. She didn't call out for the police. She called out for Brad. And what did they do? They left and they never went back. After she called out for you, again, not the police, not the FBI, Brad. And they left and never went back. And I just don't think I'll ever be able to understand that.
yeah.
She
And if
didn't
you ever
call
had
for
the
a
opportunity,
professional.
if you
She didn't
ever
call.
had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Brad and had him tell you that whole story and not just a top line story that y'all get in a clip here and
So
there.
what's really the whole story behind it then?
No,
Like
I'm just
a
saying, like he heard it,
generalization, but I
like
haven't talked
he
to him.
sits there, and second guesses himself all the time about that. He's like, we had two cars. Why didn't we leave one car there? Why didn't some people get out and start walking in that area while the one car? So he sits there and second guesses himself all the
That's
time
not
about
the
stuff.
question.
And he's second guessed himself,
That's not the
but nobody's
question,
ever went back.
Andy. That he's publicly not second. I'll clip it because I want to clip all this. I might clip you saying, because now you're on my channel. Now I got all these, I could download this, clip this up with all the stuff they've said. Thanks for joining tonight.
Right?
I mean, I'm telling you, he's convinced it was her.
He does. I mean, that's him. Maybe he was wishful. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe he was wishful thinking. Maybe he was hoping so bad that he heard something and it sounded like it. Maybe he really did. I don't know. But in that moment, that's what he thought he heard. And he said, follow that voice. But they all went that direction. And he says all the time, he's like, I don't know why we didn't split up. Why didn't somebody stay where we thought we heard that voice? I don't know why we turned around and followed the car. Like he says that kind of stuff. He doesn't disagree with y'all that he didn't make all of the right decisions in the moment.
But no, that's not. But okay, you can't. Okay, I get that. But you can't do anything about the past. But you can do something right now. But no, it just, in my opinion, there's just no urgency from them. I feel like there's a lot of, pleading for everybody else to do things, but I mean, I just can't get over them not going back. And again, that's just something that I'll just have to personally disagree with you on. But I come back to that, and that ultimately leads me personally to believe that deep down they know she's not alive, and they know she didn't make it off the ship alive that night, in my opinion. And when Ron woke up and, he said he heard something and he woke up and Amy wasn't there. I mean, in my opinion, that could have possibly been her going overboard. But I mean, the brain is a crazy thing. I mean, he could have tricked himself out of believing that, because why would you want to believe that your child just went overboard and you heard it? I mean, but there's a lot with that, but that's just my conclusion. I deep down, I don't think they think that she's still alive,
Well,
personally. And that's just where I guess we just disagree, but that's just me.
they believe what they believe, and they don't have any reason at this point to not have hope and to not keep looking for her. And
What are they doing to look for her, Sandy? What are they
I'm
doing?
not going to share that kind of info. I'm not going to do that. So, but they don't go themselves, but I can promise you they are active. They are
What
very
does
active.
that even mean?
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to talk about that. But
You remember Project Bailey?
one day, all of this information will hopefully be able to come out. And then you'll be like, damn, Sandy was telling the truth all along. But I'm not going to discuss stuff, I can't. I'm not going to do that just to appease somebody.
Just personally, do they all, like Brad, Ivan, Ron, do they all believe that Amy is still alive? Like, from what they've said to you, they believe she's still alive?
They do.
Okay.
They do.
So, like, have they ever thought, okay, like, so let's say she did make it off of the cruise. Have they considered the fact that even if she did make it off, she may have been alive for a time, but she may not be alive today?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in their mind, that doesn't mean that they don't stop fighting. If that was the case, then, and she was taken off and she is no longer with us, though, in their minds, that doesn't mean that they just say, oh, okay, well, never mind. Like she doesn't deserve justice. Like they still feel like if that's what happened, that they should fight to figure out what happened to her and who did it, whoever it is, and, try to have justice for her. They're not just going to wipe their hands of it and be like, oh, okay, well, she's probably not with us anymore. And it doesn't matter if someone actually did something bad to her or not. We're just going to call it a night and, forget about it. That's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. You got 3 people that love their daughter and their sister, and they don't know what happened to her. And they truly believe that there is a chance that she could be out there. And as long as they believe that, and they don't have any other reason not to believe that at this point, they're going to keep looking. And I can't fault them for that.
I just don't see what they've, like, you keep saying they keep looking, they keep searching. I just don't see it. I see a bunch of
That's
keyboard
good. But
cowards.
that's good. But honestly, that's good. That's
Really?
good. Yeah,
And-
that's good.
Nobody in Barbados, nobody in Curacao knows who you guys are.
Okay.
I mean, that's true.
No, it's not. But at any rate, I do appreciate you allowing me. It's 12:30 my time, so I appreciate you letting me come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that I think you're turning over a new leaf, Sandy. I think you're trying to be better, and I think everybody can be better and do better. Me too. Sometimes I slip. Sometimes I run my mouth.
It's
So we can all be better and do better. And you're doing it,
emotional
Sandy.
subject. It's a very emotional subject. And it's
Just one
about
last-
somebody for us that's personal, and it's not personal for y'all. So you also have to take that into consideration. It's very personal for all of us over here. It's not personal for y'all at all.
You guys are making it personal for other people, though. Do you remember who Ivory Rose is?
Yeah.
Do you think you owe her an apology
For what?
for doxing her?
How did I dox her?
When
What are you
I
talking-
remember what I was talking about earlier when I said when I direct questions to you, I'm speaking to the Bradleys when I speak to you. You don't remember what you did to her? I'm just wondering.
No, I haven't done anything to Ivory Rose except block her and move on with my life.
So I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about the like in the team. You guys did this in the beginning.
So, Sandy, just another more question for you. Do you personally, like just you, do you believe that it is a 0% chance that Amy went overboard that morning?
Good question, Nigeria.
Just 0, like there's no chance whatsoever that Amy went overboard somehow that morning, whether it was intentional or like accidental or whatever.
Meaning only by her own accord and nobody else like pushed her or anything like that?
Yeah, just by her own accord, she
No.
0% chance she somehow went over.
I don't.
Okay.
When you say that, Nigeria, do you mean accident or self?
I mean, yeah, I'm referring to like her accidentally going over or her intentionally going over.
Without
0% chance.
anyone else witnessing it.
Without
anyone else witnessing it, as you're suggesting? Like it would have happened solo? Like no Brad, no Iva, no Ron conscious to witness?
The only thing that right now that I'm referring to, I mean, Ron may have possibly slightly heard it. That would be the only thing that I would be referring to.
That doesn't
right now.
count.
But I'm just for right now. I'm just talking about her accidentally going over, or her intentionally going over. Like if they think that if she thinks that there's like any chance that happened. Yeah.
I don't, but that's my belief. Y'all have your beliefs and I have mine. And no, I just don't think that. But at any rate, I'm gonna jump off and
Hey, thanks for
appreciate the
coming,
conversation.
Sandy. Thank
All
you
right.
for being a sport.
All
You're
right.
like the Afro man of this evening. You're a sport for doing this.
Right on.
Have
All
a great
right, have a
night.
good night. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.